two things that are really important that we can do at this conference. Firstly, to raise awareness of the social and environmental responsibility agendas in the minds and the strategies of higher education establishments, but also then to communicate to others within the Southwest what higher education is actually achieving in these areas. I think that it's really important for higher education institutions in the Southwest to collaborate in order to deliver for the region the best possible results in economic terms, in educational terms, and certainly in environmental terms.
Oh my God.
So I have to be truthful on this one.
In my case, it's 7.
I think it's 6.
Too many to remember.
Not that many compared to some of them.
The sad thing is I don't think I could tell you, but it's certainly more than a dozen.
In order to compete on an international basis, we have to make sure that the workforce is trained to the highest standard. And without a decent education, it's almost impossible, it would be impossible to compete. Certainly if you look in the situation in the UK, we have a high standard of living, and to be able to maintain that, we can only do that by having a well-trained workforce and who are very focused and have got drive and initiative.
I think it's sharing knowledge to a much wider audience. And then pushing back the frontiers of science. I mean, those are the discovering new things through research, but also sharing the evidence through learning and education to ensure that a wider audience knows the facts.
I think it brings people into an area where they find out as much about themselves. When I went through higher education, it taught me as much about myself and taught me those skills to actually go back out there, to research, to find out things for myself. So that's what it did for me, and I think that's what it does for a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, giving them the skills to go out into the world, make a difference, make an impact, increase their wealth, increase the wealth of the country, prosperity, all these big things. And I think HEIs are inseparable from that happening.
Well, I think it's probably in our widening participation activities, programs like Aim Higher, where we're reaching out into schools and working with children 11 or 12 years of age and trying to encourage them to think, you know, raise their aspirations and get into higher education and not regard higher education as an ivory tower well beyond them.
Higher education, through its student population, has the ability to make the greatest impact on society as a whole. Because students, again, when they become part of a business, setting up their own business, part of the public sector, even working in universities, they can take their knowledge, their critical insight into things, their ability to interrogate, to learn, to express new ideas. It's absolutely fantastic. So they are the drivers of the future, and we love every student, every graduate.
Not that many, actually. Probably about
12. 8.
Far too many.
4.
Oh, somewhere between 10 and 13.
Fewer than my wife.
Probably the most important thing that I've learned to do is to travel less, and certainly to fly less. And environmentally, I think that that's quite a significant thing, a change in my behaviour over the recent years.
I've tried to, consider how best to reduce my carbon footprint in all sorts of little ways. So I think about it all the time.
I suppose acting in an honest and transparent way, particularly with our students, yes. But often managers can be a little bit distant And I think at Falmouth we try to be very close to our students.
Well, I have an organic farm, and we are shifting to a whole range of sustainable technologies within the farm.
I still do a little bit of lecturing, and I also mentor a lot of students in assisting them in setting up in their own business.
I have a wonderful job. I am director of a partnership that has invested the European Objective 1 monies into Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly, and I meet so many people from all walks of life. And over the last 7 years in Cornwall, we've turned it around from being the basket case of the economy in Europe to being one of the most coolest and liveliest places to live and be successful.
Now that's telling.
Probably about under 10.
About 30 or 40. My daughter probably has over 100.
Probably about 40. I'm a bit like a girl in that respect. I like shoes.
It's important for making links and networking. I've also been involved in one of the regional projects, Grad Southwest, which is matching students with companies locally.
It's important to transfer new knowledge across a wide partnership. It's important to network, to hear the wonderful things that so many individuals are doing.
I think it's important that the regions try and work together, because it is for the UK economy again, that if the region is working together and actually sharing what they do or the contacts they have, it actually helps the region survive.
I think if there's any single message I'd like them to take away from this conference, it's that they really should be thinking about introducing at least one change in their own institution or their own businesses as a consequence of the agenda that we've addressed here.